First contact and deception. High above Earth's atmosphere, Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Helios station, her eyes fixed on the quantum detection array's holographic display. The signal was unmistakable. A massive fleet of ships had just emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Right on schedule. Director Marcus wants you in the Quantum Command Center, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his footsteps silent against the station's gravity-manipulated floor. The Xeraxians are broadcasting their first message. Sarah nodded, her augmented eyes automatically recording every detail of the approaching fleet's energy signatures. To the rest of the galaxy, she was merely a climate scientist working on atmospheric data collection. In reality, she headed Earth's Xenotechnology Analysis Division, responsible for reverse engineering any alien tech that came within scanning range. The Quantum Command Center hummed with activity as she entered. Hundreds of operators monitored their stations, their neural interfaces processing data at speeds that would have seemed impossible to the public. Director Elena Marcus stood at the central platform, her silver hair reflecting the soft blue light of the holographic displays. Dr. Chen, perfect timing, Elena said, gesturing to the main screen. Our friends are about to introduce themselves. The screen flickered to life, revealing a tall humanoid figure with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes. Grand Admiral Vexthor of the Xeraxian Empire cut an impressive figure in his crystalline armor, clearly designed to intimidate primitive species. People of Earth, the translation matrix rendered his words in perfect English. I come representing the mighty Xeraxian Empire. Our scans indicate your civilization has achieved nuclear fission and basic spaceflight. As per Imperial Protocol 7249, we are here to offer you protection and guidance under our benevolent rule. Sarah exchanged knowing looks with Elena. The Xeraxians had no idea that Earth had been monitoring their empire for the past 50 years. Their advanced scanning technology couldn't penetrate the quantum camouflage that hid humanity's true technological level. Show me their fleet composition, Elena commanded. The AI system instantly displayed detailed schematics of the approaching armada. 500 ships, mostly powered by antimatter reactors, primitive by Earth's hidden standards. They're using 6th-generation shield technology, Sarah observed, her augmented mind already calculating weak points. Their fastest ships can barely achieve Type 2 quantum tunneling. Elena smiled, but there was no humor in it. And they think they're doing us a favor by offering protection. Maintain Protocol Omega. Let them think we're scrambling in panic. Across Earth, carefully orchestrated chaos began. News networks leaked footage of emergency government meetings. Military bases made a show of launching obsolete aircraft and missiles. Social media exploded with manufactured fear and confusion. In reality, Earth's true defense grid remained invisible and waiting. Quantum-entangled satellites, dimensional phase shifters, and consciousness-directed weapon systems stood ready, hidden behind layers of technology so advanced it appeared non-existent to conventional scans. They're launching their secondary probe wave, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. Standard infiltration pattern. Let them through our primitive defenses, Elena ordered. Feed them exactly what they expect to see. Dr. Chen, is the Cultural Integration Network ready? Sarah nodded, pulling up another holographic display. The AI is generating perfectly believable patterns of human behavior, calculated to reinforce their superiority complex. They'll see exactly what they want to see. A planet of squabbling nations, barely able to maintain a space station. The Xeraxian probes descended through Earth's atmosphere, their stealth technology comically obvious to Earth's quantum sensors. They recorded footage of cities, military bases, and infrastructure, all carefully crafted facades hiding the true extent of human advancement. Grand Admiral Vexthor is preparing another broadcast, the AI announced. Linguistic analysis suggests a standard conquering speech, 89% match with previous Xeraxian first contact patterns. Elena straightened her uniform. Well then, let's play our part. Activate the emergency broadcast system. Time to show them just how scared we are. As the Zyrexian fleet moved closer, humanity's greatest deception continued. Every scan, every transmission, every piece of data the aliens collected reinforced their belief in their technological superiority. They had no idea they were being led into the most sophisticated trap ever created by a civilization that had long since surpassed their level of advancement. The game would continue until Earth decided it was time to show its true face. And when that moment came, the Zyrexian Empire would learn why humanity had chosen to hide its power for so long. Just another day of keeping Earth's greatest secret, that while the galaxy's empires fought over territories and resources, humanity had quietly ascended to heights they couldn't imagine, waiting for the right moment to step onto the galactic stage. The silent preparation. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. James Wong synchronized his neural interface with the global defense network. Around him, the quantum manufacturing center stretched for miles, its dark matter reactors powering the creation of weapons that defied conventional physics. Consciousness-linked battle units are at 100% synchronization. He reported, his augmented mind processing streams of data from thousands of quantum AI cores. The Zyrexians won't know what hit them. Through his neural link, James watched as the alien fleet positioned itself in a standard conquest formation near Mars. Their scans passed harmlessly through Earth's quantum camouflage, seeing only what humanity wanted them to see. Admiral Sarah Chen, now revealed as more than just a xenotechnology analyst, stood at the center of the underwater command hub. Her augmented eyes tracked the movements of every Zyrexian ship, while her enhanced mind simulated countless battle scenarios. "Show me the Dreamweaver status," she commanded. The facility's AI materialized a holographic display showing Earth's most closely guarded secret, the Dreamweaver network. Millions of human minds, voluntarily connected through quantum entanglement, formed the most powerful computational system in known space. A junior officer, Lieutenant Maya Patel, approached with a neural encrypted update. The Zyrexians have deployed their Phase 2 infiltration units. Their stealth tech might as well be a lighthouse to our quantum sensors. Sarah nodded, watching as the alien infiltrators unknowingly triggered layers of sophisticated detection systems. Each movement they made was predicted, analyzed, and countered before they even knew they were being watched. In orbit, cloaked observation posts tracked the Zyrexian fleet's every move. Their ships, which they believed to be the pinnacle of space warfare technology, were being scanned down to the quantum level by systems that existed beyond their understanding of physics. "They're preparing for their demonstration of force," James announced, his consciousness spread across multiple monitoring stations. "Standard intimidation protocol. They'll probably destroy one of our primitive satellites." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Let them. Each decoy satellite contains enough quantum sensors to map their entire weapons system. The more they try to intimidate us, the more they reveal about themselves." The Zyrexian fleet moved with what they thought was overwhelming force and precision. They had no idea that their every action was being predicted by the Dreamweaver network, their every technology being analyzed and countered by systems that made their most advanced weapons look like children's toys. In cities across the globe, hidden quantum technology hummed beneath the surface of ordinary life. What looked like simple office buildings contained dimensional phase shifters. Public transportation systems concealed gravity manipulation grids. Even the internet, which the Zyrexians dismissed as primitive, was merely the surface layer of humanity's true information network. "Final defense grid check," Sarah ordered. Around the planet, invisible fields of quantum-entangled particles shifted into their final configurations. Consciousness-directed weapon platforms, hidden in dimensional pockets, stood ready. The true might of Earth's military power lay coiled and waiting, hidden behind a carefully crafted mask of technological inferiority. Lieutenant Patel's neural interface flashed with new data. The Zyrexians are launching their final warning broadcast. They're giving us 6 hours to surrender unconditionally. Perfect, Sarah replied, her augmented mind already calculating the optimal moment to spring their trap. That gives us plenty of time to finish the preparations. How's the public response protocol proceeding? James pulled up another holographic display showing social media feeds, news broadcasts, and global communications. Everything the Ziraxians could monitor showed exactly what they expected. A planet in panic, governments in chaos, military forces scrambling uselessly. The deception is holding perfectly, he confirmed. They're completely convinced of their superiority. The cultural integration network is feeding them exactly what they want to see. Sarah turned to face the assembled command staff, their neural interfaces glowing softly in the dim light of the underwater facility. Humanity has hidden in plain sight for generations, advancing while the galaxy's empires wasted resources on conquest and dominion. The Ziraxians think they're about to claim an easy victory. Instead, they're about to learn why we chose to mask our true power for so long. As the deadline approached, Earth's hidden defenses silently moved into their final positions. The trap was set. Soon, the Ziraxian Empire would learn that they hadn't found a primitive civilization to conquer. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had surpassed them long ago. The battle begins. The 6-hour deadline approached its final minutes. Grand Admiral Vexthor stood proudly on his command bridge, watching Earth's primitive defensive satellites with contempt. Their final warning had produced exactly the response he expected: confused panic and futile military posturing. "Begin the demonstration," he commanded. "Target their largest military installation." As the Ziraxian weapons powered up, something changed. Throughout their fleet, systems began reporting anomalies. Quantum scanners flickered. Navigation computers displayed impossible readings. Deep within the Quantum Command Center, Admiral Sarah Chen gave the order they'd been waiting generations to issue: initiate Protocol Omega. Let's show them what humanity can really do. The transformation was instantaneous. Earth's quantum camouflage peeled away like a veil, revealing the true face of human technological might. The primitive satellites morphed into advanced battle platforms. The empty space around Earth shimmered as dimensional phase shields snapped into place. "Impossible," Vexthor whispered, his multiple eyes widening as new readings flooded his sensors. Where moments ago had been empty space, now stood thousands of ships that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. Lieutenant Maya Patel's voice carried across all frequencies, translated perfectly into Ziraxian. "This is Earth Defense Command. Your scans are now showing a small fraction of our actual capabilities. We recommend immediate withdrawal." The Ziraxian admiral's response was predictable. He ordered his fleet to open fire. Their most powerful weapons, capable of destroying continents, lanced toward Earth. Sarah watched calmly as the attacks approached. Initiate consciousness-directed defense grid. The Dreamweaver network activated. Millions of connected human minds focused their collective will through quantum-engineered systems. The Ziraxian weapons simply ceased to exist, their energy absorbed and redistributed through dimensional spaces humans had mastered decades ago. "Impossible," Vexthor roared. "No civilization at this development stage could." "You assumed," James Wang's voice cut through their communications, "that what you could see was all that existed. A rather fundamental error. Around the Ziraxian fleet, space itself seemed to bend. Human ships phased into existence using technologies that made their quantum tunneling drives look primitive. Each vessel was controlled not by a crew, but by digitized human consciousness, operating at speeds that made light seem slow. The Ziraxians' first counterattack faltered as their weapons passed harmlessly through human vessels. Their targeting systems couldn't lock onto ships that existed in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Their shields, which could withstand antimatter explosions, offered no protection against weapons that ignored conventional physics. "Secondary demonstration," Sarah ordered, her augmented mind coordinating thousands of battle units simultaneously. A single human vessel, no larger than a Ziraxian shuttle, approached their fleet. With a pulse of energy that their sensors couldn't even categorize, it disabled the weapons systems of 50 Zyraxian ships simultaneously. In his command center, James monitored the Dreamweaver network's battle analysis. They're still trying to use conventional tactics. Their strategic AI is attempting to adapt, but it's like watching Stone Age warriors try to understand nuclear physics. The Zyraxian fleet, pride of an empire that had conquered 1,000 worlds, found itself in an impossible situation. Their weapons were useless, their shields meaningless. Their fastest ships couldn't escape weapons that ignored the light speed barrier. Final warning. Sarah broadcast. Your empire's technology is approximately 300 years behind our current capabilities. This battle was over before it began. Stand down. Vexthor, his pride shattered but his warrior spirit intact, prepared to order a suicide charge. Before he could speak, his neural commanders reported a new impossibility. Human consciousness had entered their command systems, bypassing every security measure, as if they didn't exist. Perhaps, Maya's voice echoed through their ships, a small demonstration of what we could do if we actually wanted to fight. With a thought, she activated a tiny fraction of Earth's defensive capabilities. Throughout the Zyraxian fleet, reality itself seemed to hiccup. When it stabilized, every weapon system had been transformed into harmless light displays. Their mighty engines could now barely manage impulse power. The message was clear. Humanity hadn't just prepared for this battle. They had advanced so far beyond their would-be conquerors that the entire conflict was meaningless. And as the Zyraxian fleet hung powerless in space, they began to understand the true meaning of fear, not of humanity's weapons, but of the realization that everything they believed about their place in the galaxy had been wrong. Turning the tide, Grand Admiral Vexthor stood frozen on his command bridge, watching helplessly as his mighty fleet hung powerless in space. 3 centuries of military doctrine, countless conquest protocols, and the most advanced AI battle systems in the known galaxy, all rendered meaningless in minutes. Your species, he transmitted, his voice carrying a tremor never before heard from a Zyraxian commander. How did you hide this level of advancement? Admiral Sarah Chen's response came not through conventional communications, but directly into the minds of every Zyraxian crew member. We learned long ago that true power lies not in showing strength, but in choosing when to reveal it. The Dreamweaver network expanded its influence, giving the Zyraxians their first glimpse of humanity's true civilization. Below Earth's carefully maintained facade lay cities that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, transportation systems that ignored physics as the Zyraxians understood it, energy production that made their antimatter reactors look like simple combustion engines. We detected your first scout ships 50 years ago, James Wong explained, his consciousness interfacing directly with the Zyraxians' neural networks. We watched as you conquered world after world, always following the same pattern, always assuming that what you could see was all that existed. Maya Patel's consciousness joined the network, adding her perspective to the overwhelming demonstration. With a thought, she transformed a small asteroid near the Zyraxian fleet into a perfect crystalline sphere, not through weapons or technology, but through direct manipulation of matter at the quantum level. Your empire measures civilization by its visible technology, she transmitted, by its weapons and ships and conquest. We chose a different path. We advanced not through domination, but through understanding. The Zyraxian command staff watched in stunned silence as their sensors, the few still functioning, detected energy patterns that shouldn't be possible. Human ships phased in and out of reality. Weapon platforms existed in states that violated every known law of physics. Your next question, Sarah projected, anticipating Vexthor's thoughts, will be why we didn't conquer the galaxy ourselves. Why hide such power? Through the neural link, she shared images of Earth's history, the lessons humanity had learned about the price of power, the conscious choice to advance in secret, to grow without the burden of empire, to prepare not for conquest, but for preservation. "We could have destroyed your fleet the moment it entered our solar system," James transmitted. "We could have conquered your empire before you knew we existed. But that's not our way." Around the Xeraxian fleet, space itself seemed to ripple as Earth's defense grid demonstrated more of its capabilities. Their sensors detected technological achievements that their most advanced scientists had only theorized about. Power sources that drew energy from the quantum fabric of reality itself. Computing systems that utilized consciousness as their primary processing medium. Vex Thor, his pride shattered but his mind expanding, finally understood. "You're not just more advanced," he transmitted. "You're something entirely different, something we never conceived possible." "Correct," Sarah acknowledged. "And now you have a choice. You can return to your empire with tales of our power, sparking a feudal arms race that will consume your resources and doom your people. Or the neural link filled with new information, technological insights, scientific breakthroughs, philosophical concepts that could transform Xeraxian society. Not enough to match Earth's level, but enough to set them on a different path. We offer neither surrender nor conquest," Maya projected. "We offer understanding. The realization that the galaxy is far larger, far stranger, and far more wonderful than your empire's limited vision suggests." Through the neural network, every Xeraxian felt the truth of humanity's words. They had come expecting to find primitives, and instead discovered beings who had transcended traditional definitions of civilization. As their ships hung powerless in space, the Xeraxians faced a moment of choice that would reshape their empire forever. They could cling to their old ways and face obsolescence, or embrace a fundamental change in how they viewed the universe and their place in it. And in that moment, watching their most powerful weapons transformed into art installations and their mighty engines reduced to simple propulsion, the Xeraxians began to understand the true meaning of advancement. Not the power to destroy or conquer, but the wisdom to know when such power is unnecessary. A new era. 3 months after the failed invasion, the Galactic Council convened for the first time in its history with a human representative present. The vast chamber, designed to showcase the power of the galaxy's oldest civilizations, seemed somehow diminished as Admiral Sarah Chen took her place at the speaker's podium. The assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds watched in uneasy silence. The Xeraxian delegation, led by the now humbled Grand Admiral Vex Thor, sat quietly in their section, their usual displays of imperial might noticeably absent. "For centuries," Sarah began, her voice carrying naturally in every known language through quantum translation fields, "you've all watched Earth. You've measured our progress, assessed our weakness, planned our conquest. And in doing so, you revealed more about yourselves than you ever learned about us." The chamber's holographic displays activated, showing scenes from humanity's hidden civilization. Cities that existed in quantum superposition, energy systems that drew power from the dimensional substrate of reality itself, and transportation networks that made traditional spaceflight look primitive. "But we're not here to humble you," James Wong added, his consciousness projecting through the quantum network. "We're here to offer a different path forward." Maya Patel's consciousness joined the network, adding depth to the presentation. The assembled representatives gasped as their neural interfaces connected them to a tiny fraction of the Dreamweaver network, giving them their first true glimpse of human civilization's scope. "Your empires measure progress through conquest," Maya transmitted. "Through the accumulation of territory and resources. We chose to measure it through understanding, through the advancement not just of technology, but of consciousness itself." The chamber's displays shifted, showing the transformation already beginning in the Xeraxian Empire. Worlds that once hosted weapon factories now developed consciousness integration technology. Military academies had become centers for dimensional physics research. The empire that had sought to conquer Earth was reshaping itself from within. "We offer the same choice to all of you," Sarah continued. "Not submission to Earth, but partnership in exploration. Not the surrender of your sovereignty, but the expansion of your understanding." Through the neural network, she shared glimpses of technologies that most of the assembled species had never imagined possible, not as a demonstration of superiority, but as an invitation to growth. Your civilizations stand at a crossroads, James projected. You can continue your cycles of conquest and competition, fighting over resources that are infinite if you know how to access them. Or you can join us in exploring what lies beyond the boundaries of conventional space and time. The chamber erupted in discussion, thousands of neural networks lighting up with questions, fears, and possibilities. Through it all, the human representatives remained calm, their presence a reminder of how much remained unknown in the galaxy. But know this, Sarah added, her voice cutting through the chaos. Earth will no longer hide. We will no longer maintain the facade of primitive development. From this day forward, we stand as we truly are, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as explorers of the infinite. Vexthor, speaking for the first time since the council began, addressed his fellow representatives. 3 months ago, I commanded the mightiest fleet in known space. I thought I understood power. I thought I understood progress. I was wrong. What humanity offers us is not domination, but illumination. The Galactic Council Chamber, designed to showcase the power of ancient empires, now hummed with new possibilities. The quantum network filled with discussions of cooperation, of shared research, of expeditions into dimensions previously thought unreachable. As the session concluded, Sarah stood with her fellow human representatives, watching as the galaxy's most powerful civilizations began to grapple with their new reality. They had come expecting to find Earth either conquered or threatening. Instead, they found something far more challenging, a civilization that had transcended the very concepts they had built their empires upon. They'll adapt, Maya observed, watching the quantum streams of consciousness flowing through the chamber. Some faster than others, but they'll adapt. They have to, James added. The universe is far too vast, far too strange, and far too wonderful to explore alone. And as the council dispersed, carrying news of Earth's true nature to every corner of known space, humanity prepared for its next great adventure. Not as hidden observers, not as conquered or conquerors, but as guides to a universe far more magnificent than anyone had imagined. The age of empires was ending. The age of exploration was about to begin.